I think most people nowadays share a common fear of spiders. This may be due to the fact that they are both creepy and crawly, but I think it may have to do with the childhood story we all know, The Spider and the Fly by Mary Howitt, which is also a poem. According to Wikipedia, Mary Howitt was an English poet born on March 12, 1799, and she passed away on January 30th, 1888. Her most famous piece is the Spider and the Fly poem, but she has some other tales as well. Now recite the poem by Mary Howitt. "Will you walk into my parlor?" said the spider to the fly. "'Tis the prettiest little parlor that you ever did spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many things to shew when you are there." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly. "To ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can never come down again." "I'm sure you must be weary, dear, and with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed?" said the spider to the fly. "There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin. If you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in." "Oh, no, no," said the little fly, "for I've often heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed." Said the cunning spider to the fly, "Dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry a good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome. Will you please to take a slice?" "Oh, no, no," said the little fly. "Kind sir, that cannot be. I've heard what's in your pantry, and I do not wish to see." "Sweet creature," said the spider, "you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I've a little looking-glass upon my parlor shelf. If you'll step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself." "I thank you, gentle sir," she said, "for what you're pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day." The spider turned him round about, and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out to his door again, and merrily did sing, "Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with a pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead." Alas, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his willy flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then near and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and green and purple hue, thinking only of her crested head. Poor foolish thing! At last up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up the winding stair into his dismal den with his little parlor, but she never came out. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words I pray you never give heed. Unto an evil counselor, close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. I think what the author is trying to tell us is that we shouldn't give in to people when they tell us what we want to hear. In the beginning of the story, the fly was brave enough to stand up to the spider and say no, even though the spider was trying to be really tempting to her. Towards the end of the story, the spider knew what the fly wanted to hear by calling her beautiful and complimenting her, and that eventually led to her never coming out of the web. I think this relates to real life, as a lot of people in your life can be toxic and will just tell you what you want to hear in effort to gain things for themselves, just like the spider. A spider in real life may be a person who just wants to use you for any sort of gain and tell you what you want to hear just so that they can manipulate you, just as the spider did to the fly. While it is just a children's poem, I think it serves some really valuable lessons to learn in life, especially at a young age when children would be reading this poem.